That's how we roll.
Okay, welcome to the second to last Heroes Reborn after review show. As with me always is John. Thanks for coming again, John. How you doing?
I'm all right. You, Glenn?
I can't complain. It's Friday. Got to work tomorrow, but hey, I'm off Sunday, so I got something to look forward to. How's the weather on the East Coast?
Oh, it's cold, but little to no snow. Like a few sprinkles. That's about it.
Oh, that's not too bad then. It's kind of been an unusual winter, I think, across North America. Not well out here in Vancouver. We maybe get a day or two at the most of snow, and it's usually gone the next day. So it's. I used to live in the middle of the country, and it snows, and I got tired of it. So that's why I came out this way. I don't like shoveling, and I don't like the cold.
Well, I understand that, but like when you have Christmas without snow, it's really, really kind of dreary.
I go. See, we go play baseball at the park on Christmas sometimes. So.
Okay. I guess then you're used to it. Over here in New Jersey, we're like, yeah, I don't like shoveling. Yeah, I don't like breaking my back, but I don't like looking outside and I don't see any white, like puffiness. I see like a dry road, and I'm like, this doesn't feel right. Something's wrong with this picture.
Well, last year and the year before, we actually got snow on just Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. This was the first year, I probably in 3 or 4 years, we haven't seen any snow on Christmas. So it's kind of the little guy likes it. He goes out and plays in it, and I'm like, yeah, we don't have to worry about shoveling or anything because it's not that much snow, just enough to maybe do a little bit of sliding and make a snowman. That's about it. So I don't mind it.
Gotcha. So let's hit it. Come on, we got a lot to talk about.
We got lots to talk about. Fantastic episode last night. So I kind of shut myself off from social media until I was done. Where to start? Oh, boy. Let's start, I guess, with Tommy, I guess. So they had him hooked up in that machine early on in the show. And he starts sending all these people to the future with that anybody's wearing the wristwatch, I guess I can call it, or whatever, transporter watch. But he kind of overhears Erica's evil henchman say something about not everybody's going to be saved, just basically select few. So he kind of takes off to go find his mom and Emily.
Well, his projection was 12,000 from what I heard.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, and then when he runs into Emily later on in the episode, she hadn't received her watch yet, and I think that kind of caused him concern too, because if his girlfriend ain't coming, maybe his mom's not coming. So it was kind of he's playing both sides, but at the same point, I think he's very cautious about what he's doing because it could really impact his family in the end, is what could happen.
Right. And he's very inexperienced when it comes to being a double agent, or maybe should I say a triple agent. And he's still a teenager, so he's really playing this by ear. He has no training whatsoever. So if he messes up, I kind of expect it.
Yeah, it was kind of neat. It was later on in the episode when he went looking for his mom, and she was going into the building, and because he's only frozen time once, and I believe that was during in the ice cream parlor when he froze time, and he kind of discovered he could do it. But when he kind of teleports to where his mom is, and then he just kind of gives a quick eye squeeze, and boom, and time is frozen. It was just like, all the hero emotions kind of came back during basically this episode, because he was using his powers a lot more. So you kind of miss Hero at that time. I don't know about yourself. You probably being a Hero's biggest fan.
Well, I wouldn't say he's the biggest fan. I'm pretty sure they're bigger fans than me, but I'd have to say it's hardcore fans, yes.
The hardcore fan. And then
Biggest fan would be a little bit of a stretch for me.
yeah, I guess yeah, you myself and myself and yourself, we consider ourselves. Yeah, I guess the hardcore fans um, would be the correct term. Um, what else happened in Tommy's storyline last night? Unfortunately, I just couldn't get a bunch of good stills and everything again last night because the Heroes YouTube channel, where I get all my still shots from, they're just not in Canada. We're not getting the videos anymore. So I kind of had to just kind of play it by ear and get the pictures that I got from last night's episode on the internet. But Tommy, what else happened with Tommy last night? Well, he got trapped he followed in his stepdad's footsteps and gets trapped in the Evernow game.
Yes,
Now, the purpose for that, I remember originally, was because that way they could harvest Hero's powers and just kind of control him. But Tommy, I don't know.
well, here's the loophole that I didn't understand, or should I say the plot hole. Erica tried to do it first, but she failed. But suddenly she could do it all over again. I don't understand. Because when Tommy was made unconscious, you saw the little mark in the back of his neck where Erica tried to do it, and she said she failed. And suddenly she can do it all over again now. I don't know what has changed, or maybe, it was just some lazy way of the writers to buy some time for Tommy to get more development. But apparently now he's, like you said, he's stuck where his stepdad is. And now we don't know what's going on, or, he's basically blocked. You saw like the images of him stuck in a room and samurai and by a huge bolted door. You're thinking to yourself, well, now there's no key code to rescue him. So now what?
Yeah, it's going to be. You're right. It's going to be interesting how they're going to get him out of the game, because obviously he's going to get out, and anybody. Well, later on we'll play a clip for next week's show. But he's obviously going to get out. But I was reading something online today, and I didn't really pay attention to it initially. Was when Hero was trapped in the game, Ultimo had programmed Miko, Katana Girl, to save the Master of Time and Space. And I guess when they kind of did the butterfly, when they did the June 13th thing and the flip-flop back and everything was changed, the reason they said Miko came back was because the timeline had changed and Tommy was now the new Master of Time and Space. Hence, she had a new mission. She came back, and that's why she reappeared after releasing Hero. I don't know if that makes sense at all, but I kind of, okay, it does make a little bit of sense to me. But now that he's trapped again, is she going to reappear again? And and like you said, you were saying there was like quadruple the amount of guards in the Evernow game as compared to when Hero is trapped himself. So maybe the only other person I can think of that can get in there to save him now would be Micah. I don't know if that's.
He's not exactly in a position to, but I always kept thinking, well, Ren and Dan are all the way coming up. I mean, Otomo is pretty much dead now again. Miko is dead again. They keep repeating deaths all over again, and it's starting to feel like no one's either really alive or no one's really dead. I'm not too sure. It's getting a little bit confusing nowadays.
Yeah, that was one thing. That was one of my biggest qualms about the original series was anybody could come back, and it's like if the character's dead, we just have to accept it, and that it is what it is. But yeah, it's like you said, after this butterfly effect from June, when they went back to June 13th, we got the Haitian back, and things had changed. So they're going to kill a character off. Just kill the character off. Don't play this. I don't know. Everybody has too many out of death cards.
Yeah, it's like too many death cards in the deck. And on top of that, it feels like Tim Kring is repeating his mistakes all over again, in a way.
Yeah, I had been defending him up until this past episode. These last couple episodes have been really good, but I've been going over the old ones, and yeah, there is a lot of the initial what people didn't like about the original series is now being, like you said, it's being replayed again, and it's a formula that works in certain instances and sometimes it doesn't. And it just seems like that a lot of the episodes with the filler episodes and plots that are just not taking too long to crisscross. But yeah, there was a lot of
what it is. It's overlapping each other, and if you were a casual fan and you never saw the original, you could go along with it. But the people who did see the originals and is watching Heroes Reborn, we can see the pattern. We could see the overlap. And Tim Kring is starting to be a little bit too predictable. And, on top of that, even the people that he resurrected, they don't play a large part. I mean, it's really small and minuscule when you think about it.
Yeah, I found that the original characters that appeared in this series played a bigger role than basically the main characters of this new series, like up until now. I didn't find Tommy and Melina up until these last few episodes were really as important as they really are. I don't know if there was just because there was too many storylines going on. But just like I said, this is the last couple episodes. It just seems like Tommy and Melina have come to the forefront now, and now but they kind of suffered at the beginning, and then, like I said, the old stars outshone the new stars, essentially, for me.
Well, I don't know about that. To me, it felt like the focus was more on Danny and Melina, more on Danny than Melina. Less emphasis on Melina, more on Danny, and to be quite honest, I always had a problem with Heroes because in the end, it's like in the original series, it was all about the Petrellis. About the Petrellis. It might as well just be the Petrelli show from the original series. Now it's about descendants of the Petrellis. And it just feels like Tim Kring centered this around another family or an extension of the family. And I don't know. It just feels like we've been there before, or like he didn't try a different family, and I think that's a problem. I was hoping that there would be more, but I don't know. Maybe I hate to say it, but maybe it's better that the series end because Tim Kring is just repeating his old mistakes all over again. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true.
Yeah, no, a lot of people are just online and fans. It seems like they're very split down the middle about how this series went, and even I go back to Milo Ventimiglia when he said about the original series. He goes, it was like lightning in a bottle, and he goes, trying to recapture that is almost impossible, and I know that they've tried to do different things, but I can see where the disappointment was for a few people in the new series. But like I said, I enjoyed it. I'm glad they brought it back. But yeah, like you said, there's a few things Tim Kring has done. I don't know if it's all him or the writers, but I guess he must approve everything. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I've enjoyed these last couple episodes immensely. They've been very good. A little faster pace, a lot more action, more story coming out. I just kind of thought what we've gotten in the last 2 episodes, I thought maybe we would get the entire series, being that it's only 13 episodes, and it wasn't the case. It was more there was a lot of filler in this series. I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I thought there was a lot of filler.
There was, and to be quite honest, it was filler where the other characters were there just for supporting matters, and in the end, it was either about Noah or it's about Danny, and that's about it. And the problem was when you switch and you focus on those two hog all the focus and all the screen time, and the other characters suffer for it. And I don't know. It just feels like Tim Kring just made too many mistakes. I mean, it was a really good episode. It's just that, now that I talk about it and now that I think about it, it just feels like, Tim Kring, no matter what, Tim Kring isn't repeating the lightning in the bottle of the first season. He pretty much squandered that away. On top of that, I mean, like, I don't know what your thoughts are about, like, what I said that, is Matt a good person or a bad person? Is he essentially trying to do good but doing it in a bad way? I mean, what happened to Matt, and I did say that he was desperate and he could be careless, and look what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right on the money there. That was quite the. I only got one picture of that, the car crash here. But yeah, absolutely, like you said, he's desperate. He basically essentially Taylor, put a gun to your head, and Mom, if you're not going to give me what I want, well, she's going to die. I don't know if he would have followed through on that, but yeah, like you said, it shows his desperation because he doesn't. The original series, he wasn't that kind of a person. He wasn't, he would, help people, but he's really, like you said, really desperate. And as soon as he left the room, he's like, okay, you can drop the gun, kind of thing. And but when he gets on the phone to, he's leaving a message for Janice and their son, and you can tell obviously there's some kind of discord between them, that he's obviously not involved in their lives very much, but he wants to do right by them. And of course, he crashes his car, and we see the watches floating down the river. And he's stuck in a car. And I'm like, wow, I don't know if we're going to see Matt again in the series.
In a way, it felt like karma, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I enjoyed his. I kind of was hoping for a more evil, like when they're gonna flip a character like Matt Parkman, go full 360. Like he's kind of come back now. He's not, but I kind of liked the idea of a badass Parkman using his powers for evil. But he kind of thought he was doing something good, and he wanted to do something good for his family. And the way he went about it was kind of bad guy type mentality. But I wouldn't have minded seeing him go 360 and become a real evil jerk.
Yeah.
Especially with his ability.
On top of that, we have the face-off between husband and wife, and I did mention that earlier. And I did say one of them is going to wind up killing the other.
Yep.
But before she died, she got off a couple of shots, and we thought it was Melina who got hit, but nope, turned out to be Joanne who got shot again. That woman cannot. It's like a woman has the great power of invisibility, but unfortunately, she can't figure out to wear a bulletproof vest under that invisibility cloak that she has.
It's like, and to be honest, I remember when Farrah ran off and she turned invisible, but when Joanne shot the gun, I completely forgot that Farrah had gone into the gym.
Yes.
So, and Quentin kind of goes, "Oh, hey, what the." But yeah, hey, she got shot once, she got shot again, so she'll be okay. She'll make it. I don't know if they'll kill her off because her and Carlos kind of just reaffirmed that they love each other, kind of thing. So that'd be kind of a crappy way to. You're gonna die now after you've reaffirmed you love each other. That'd be
Yeah, but it's like she got shot again. I'm just like,
Yeah.
it's like deja vu.
Yeah, well, I guess she does her job because she is essentially a protector, and um, she's done a job right twice. So I don't know.
Just like I half expected her to look down on her wound and be like, "Oh, I did it again. Oops, I did it again."
That was, and that scene itself. Um, I I thought at first when she squeezed the bullets off that maybe Luke would just melt the bullets or something. Maybe he doesn't. He can't do that. I don't know. I thought he could generate some heat and melt the bullets and give her a warning shot. But boy, he went full on. Your turn to ash, lady. That was it. You're done. Like there was like no hesitation. He just did it.
Yeah, which means now he has nobody left. Son is dead. Wife is dead. Now all he has left is himself and maybe Melina, since he pretty much self-appointed himself as a protector. So is he going to basically say, screw it, I'm going to sacrifice myself because I have nothing left?
That could be. He could be. Yeah, I won't say any spoilers on here, but I one of the trailers going back about 3 or 4 trailers, it wasn't one of the normal next episode trailers. It was one of the when they went on winter break. There was a trailer and I watched it, and there was something I saw in there, and I won't tell anybody what it was, but if you go watch it, yeah, that's all I'll say there. I don't want to spoil it, but it's Luke involved. So people check that out. I don't know what trailer it was. It was the one when they went on winter break. There was something in there, and it kind of just alluded to what you were talking about. So I don't want to spoil it. Just kind of like somebody, I forget I think she, a young lady that's in our group who, I didn't want to give spoilers last week about, or our G Plus group, asking about Claire's, who is the father of Claire's children. And a lot of people are still asking about it. And without spoiling anything for anybody, I just say go read the Heroes Reborn ebooks and read book number 5, A Brave New World. It'll answer all your questions about the father and about some of your favorites that were not in the show. And that's all I'll say because I don't want to spoil anything. So, but I just wanted to give that a shout out too because I forgot to mention that before or last week.
But it's sort of like we get to see Hayden, but she's sure.
Yeah, wasn't that? And the funny part about that Hayden thing, when they showed her in the cheerleader outfit, they could have used a different. That I remember that being a promo shot from the original series, as opposed to her. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of funny. But isn't that the original promo shots of her in the cheerleader outfit that he used? So. But I believe that was the actual same high school they used from season 1, was it not?
Yeah, it was supposed to be Claire's high school.
Because it looked very familiar. I was like, oh, that actually looks like the actual high school. Maybe they got in there and refilmed there. So, let's see here. Oh, so Emily and Ren kind of, I wonder, they kind of meet up in the where they were going to receive their watches, and they kind of. Kind of like in the hero's world, everybody comes together at the end. So everybody's meeting each other now. So what do we think is going to come of those two? They're kind of companionship, because everybody else is kind of starting to save the world. What part are they going to play in? Ren, like you said, I could see him being in the game involved somehow, but I don't know Emily's part.
Well, here's the thing. Emily and Ren are, last time we saw them, they're heading up on an elevator and using that elevator from the key that Automo gave him. So he's going up. My theory is they're gonna be the ones to get Danny out. Both of them are gonna have to somehow figure out a way how to switch off Evernow. Can Ren do it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's smart enough and computer savvy enough to do it.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure Automo left the way for him to do it. I don't know, because he got killed off again. Like, Jesus. Automo just, I don't know. It's like he's a supporting character and a disposable character at the same time. I feel sorry for the guy. I really do.
No, you're right. Yeah, I felt bad for him. I go, because he's done all this for his daughter, and he's not going to get to see her now. Because I'm assuming they've drugged him and they've taken him down to one of those chambers to stick one of those things in the back of his neck and harvest his power or whatever. Or maybe actually right. Maybe they've just killed him.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It looked like they killed him. I don't think he's getting. To me, it looked like they killed him. But you might be right. He might be drugged for all I know. I honestly don't know. And on top of that, we see the backstory between Erica and her daughter, and I find that's a little. I want to say that it sort of reminds me of, like, Tim Krings was watching Game of Thrones and he saw all the all the press and all the coverage of when, did Cersei get raped or did Sansa get raped? Well, and all that. And he thought, hey, I could work that into my storyline too. I'll just put it on the main villain and let's see if I can humanize her like I did with Cersei. And it just felt like Tim Kring just plagiarized.
Oh, see, I'm not very up to date on I know a little bit about games, so I know what you're talking about. And I think that's we see that a lot in the Hollywood and network television now. They're taking from one another, and a lot of them are, especially superhero shows, are taking from actual comics, like taking storylines out of. A lot of people said, I think yourself mentioned, that this season of Heroes was something straight out of an X-Men. Like I said, I'm not too familiar with the X-Men, but I know some of it. But a lot of people were saying that this was similar to a storyline in an X-Men comic.
Well, yeah, and also on, I don't know if you watched The Walking Dead. The same. Do you remember the mother of Gareth? The Terminus people?
Yes.
So you know what happened to her, and it was supposed to be explained that's how she got messed up. In a way, Gareth's mother and now Erica are one and the same. Their backstories were basically they got raped and now they're just doing horrible things for the sake of their community and for the good of the whole. And it just, like I said, it felt like it got ripped off and plagiarized. Tim Kring thought that he could pull that fast one on us, and I saw it for what it was.
No, I agree. And what I like too was that scene with Erica and Taylor was when she said, her mom's like, oh, let's go to the future. Let's start all over, the three of us. And Taylor walks away from her and said, I would rather die than be alone with you in the future. And when she got on the elevator, went away, and then Erica kind of turned away, and she started to break down, and then just the hardness of her soul just came right back. I went, oh, well, I guess I got to move on. She's going to show some.
It lasted all of about 2 minutes. Yeah.
She was sad.
Yeah. It was the most humanity that I ever saw. And to be quite honest, it was pitiful. It was great on Taylor's part. I thought she handled it quite well by saying, yeah, I'd rather die. I would really want to die. I would face death over you. That's how much of a horrible person you are. That sounds nice compared to you.
Yeah, I'll go burn up in the Healy, Mom. See ya.
And I'd rather take my grandchild because I know what you're going to do to it.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. It's like your mom you don't like Evos, yet you're going to embrace an Evo as your grandchild. Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Doesn't seem plausible. Or how about that the scene in The Office where Taylor kind of yelled and that glass started exploding, kind of like a banshee kind of scream, kind of like reminiscent of Jesse in season 3. So that was, well, yeah, I guess that obviously that was the baby kind of going through mom, I guess. But Taylor was, she said Taylor wasn't an Evo because she had her tested. So obviously the power within the child that's in her kind of let her channel that ability, I guess. That's the way to put it.
Who, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, that's a ripoff of a plot line in Charmed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Alyssa, I think, was it Melissa Milano's character, or was it one of the other sisters who was pregnant, and they had and that baby had powers, and it channeled through them. So again, once again, a ripoff of another ripoff.
Well, see, I know that and you say from Charmed. Where I saw that was in No Ordinary Family. Autumn Reeser's character. What was her name? I can't remember. But she was with this guy who was a telekinetic, and she got pregnant with him, and he disappeared. And so this guy with animal powers was trying to find this Joshua guy and could smell. And when he got near her, he's like, well, I know he's near you. So he was going to kill her. She starts screaming, and all of a sudden this guy goes flying across the street and gets put through a car. And then they realize, well, the baby inside has telekinetic abilities as well, and it's protecting mom, channeling through mom. So if she's fearful, she could actually use the ability. So yeah, I kind of looked at it and went, oh yeah, that's familiar. I've seen it before. Now you've seen it, you've heard that before. So I guess that's kind of, yeah, it's been taken from a couple of places. So yeah, what the hell? But what else was there? We had some. So we got Tommy trapped in the game at the end. Parkman's sitting in a car all crushed up. Don't know if he's going to live or die. Now we don't. Micah. Then they're all there. They're all there now. They're all in Odessa. So essentially, we're just waiting for the Healy. And I think the last we saw was that the clock said 3 hours to the first impact.
And the last section of the preview, we saw Noah appear out of nowhere. Where has Noah been all this time? What's he doing?
Yeah.
And before that, I did give you a percentage of what we discussed. Who took Noah? 40% Hero, 40% Danny, 20% Peter. If we assume that Danny hasn't escaped from Ever now, it's got to be Hero. But if Ren and Emily managed to get Danny out of Ever now, then the percentage is probably Danny. So it could go either way. Who the hell's helped Noah?
I think you're right on that. I think it probably, when we play I'm gonna play the promo for next week, and I think I think it is. It's right. It's either Tommy or Hero. I'm starting to believe I don't think we're gonna see any Peter, unfortunately. Although that would be a ratings boost. Oh, speaking of ratings, the ratings did go up this week for Heroes Reborn, just about 4 million. Last week was about 3.75. This week was 3.89, I believe. So the numbers went up a bit. So they've been sitting at about an average 4 million, which isn't bad considering some of the shows that they've taken off the air were doing worse than that. And so,
but you said you posted the article of saying that they won't renew it. So I guess for now, this is the end of it.
Yeah, that's the sad part. It's I just got a message from somebody. It says our chat is disabled. Oh, I didn't realize I disabled the chat. We have somebody who wants to chat with us.
Awesome.
Yeah, just now I got to find out where the heck it is. Oh my!
I'm looking at the group chat now, and there's no one there, and no one's commenting.
Yeah, I'm looking at the comments here, and I don't comment tracker. It's yeah, it's on. We cannot. Oh, we always have had the chat on. I'm kind of surprised that it's not on. Chat. Oh, the chat's on. I don't know. Maybe it's on YouTube that the chat isn't on.
Oh, I don't have any of the connection to the YouTube thing, so.
Yeah, neither. Yeah, anyhow, I'll have to fix that for next week. Unfortunately, I've lost the name of the person that had messaged. Oh, okay. Well, I'll look that up for next week so that doesn't happen again. And normally the chat's open. And
I just tested it.
yeah, I see. Yeah, you just tested it. Interesting. I don't know what happened. So yeah, what did we? So I think we've covered just about everything. So next week is the finale. Let me get this.
I believe you're about to play a preview. Or...
You got it. I'll get that up here on our screen, on our Titantron 3000 behind us. Or as I call it, the put me to sleep machine. Okay, let's find that. I have a little playlist here. Where are you? See, I don't wear my glasses when I'm in front of the thing because I get this glare off my glasses, and I've had people message me and say, "Hey, I can see the screen in your glasses," but nobody else. When I watch everybody else, I can't see any glare on their glasses. Apparently, it's just mine.
Apparently, all this time, I don't think there's a glare on mine.
Nope, there's none on yours. I don't know. It's just maybe the way I don't know. It's just maybe the way my room is positioned. Oh, let's pause it as soon as it starts. Stop. Okay, there we go. Let it load. Turn it up a little bit.
So from when I saw those 2 little seconds, he has Hero's sword.
You save the world. What do we do? You breathe. This is your destiny. Heroes Reborn finale. Thursday on NBC.
Okay, so I just saw Danny with Hero's sword. So apparently, Hero's sword makes a comeback. I don't know about Hero. We saw like 2 seconds of Hero. I don't know if that was a flashback or if that was an echo.
Yeah, that's I was kind of like you said, the sword makes, so he's gonna get the sword somehow. But like you said, when Hero's on the screen there, he's like, "You got to be brave, my son." And how did that message get to him? That's kind of. Then again, we're talking time travel. Anything's possible. There's no right or wrong when it comes to time travel. I don't know how it actually would happen.
Yeah, because suspension of disbelief usually means that something really weird happened, and we're just going to have to go with it. However, what we also saw was Danny and Melina about to grasp hands. Now, these two basically haven't really functionally met. So when they do meet and they do physically touch of the hands, something weird and pristine and grand is supposed to happen. I don't know what, but apparently it's supposed to be big enough to save the world.
And that was a big concern early on in the series was when they were babies and they were young and growing up, it was keep them apart because Tommy didn't know, I guess he didn't have control of his ability, so we didn't want, and being that Angela Ford, saw the future that they were going to save the world, we don't want Tommy all of a sudden zapping Melina's powers away from her because we're going to need her.
Exactly. Since Danny seems to be, a power absorber and takes the powers of the person and leaves the other person just as human, as Claire did and now as Heroes did. So my guess is, does he take her power and then he uses that power multiplied with the time traveling thing? And I don't know. It's just a weird equation that I honestly, the math doesn't exactly equal, give an equal plausibility. But hey, what do I know? I'm guessing there's just as much as you, Glenn.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting because you can see in that commercial that they were. It looks like Tommy's attempting to try to reach Melina, doing, like I said, maybe something spectacular is going to happen when they once they touch her, their powers come. Wonder Twin powers activate. I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, no, it looks like it's going to be an emotional ride this last episode because you look at Noah even in that commercial, he looks like he's on the verge of tears and he says it's time to save the world, and it's almost like it looks like he's saying goodbye to him almost in that moment. And it's like, are we going to see the end of HRG? Is he going to sacrifice himself for something? I don't know. But I think it's going to be an emotional ride because I think we're going to lose a few of the characters, and I believe we'll save the world. At least I hope they do. Otherwise, we're coming back for sure.
I'd hate to think that it's another cliffhanger that they're just going to put on us, but who knows? What's your bet that Erica is going to die or be killed?
I'd be willing to bet she will die. I think
die or will she be killed?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know if anybody will kill her. I think she'll die, and maybe in the Healy itself. Maybe she'll make a sacrifice herself, maybe to save her daughter or something. I don't know if anybody will kill her. I think she'll just die in the melee of everything that's going on. I don't think anybody will just go out of their way to kill her, but she'd have a lot of people that were putting a target on her back, that's for sure.
On top of that, it'd be really ironic if everyone went to the future and she was left behind. How's that?
I built this, but you left me behind. Yeah,
that'd be the ultimate irony, and I'd be like, that feels so good.
Oh yeah, no, that'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I really don't know who will go, who's gonna make it all the way through, but I just don't know how they're gonna do this Healy thing. I don't know. I got visions in my head, but I'm like, I don't know if it'll work. I'm hoping they got something super planned for us that they'll make us go, damn, I can't wait. I wish they would bring this back. And that's another thing. A lot of people, we are fans of the series, and they did say it was a one-off shot. That's what they originally said. And you and I have mentioned this before, that it's a way, if it doesn't do if it's not a ratings juggernaut, it's a way out for them. If they, we're not bringing it back, we're not canceling it. It was just a one-off thing. But I said to somebody the other day, I said, well, if this was doing 10 to 15 million views per episode, you're darn right they'd bring it back every year. They'd probably even order a whole full-scale season again, which that would be a mistake to me, because we saw what happened in season, end of season 2, season 3. There's a lot of filler because there was just not enough interesting storyline. And I think keeping it short is the way to go. And that way you can tell a faster story at a fast pace and keep people glued to the set. I don't think if it was a juggernaut of a ratings show, that I wouldn't want them to bring it back to 25 episodes a season. I think it would just die out fast again because people would lose interest.
But once again, I'd have to remind everybody that after season 1, we did have the writer's strike, and it really, really crippled the franchise. I'm sorry to say, but it did.
It did. I agree with that. I've argued with people many a time that they said, "Oh no, it didn't," and then I listed, I go online and I found about 5 or 6 shows. Funny enough, Zach Levy's show Chuck was another one that was affected by this because the fans had to fight to keep it alive for 2 or 3 years after the writer's strike because people lost interest after the first. I think it was the first or second season that Chuck was in. And then it was another one that got killed by the writer's strike, and people just don't understand. Heroes had to go from a 24 episode season to 12. Heck, we don't know where. What was her name? His Irish girlfriend. Oh, Catherine.
Peter's
Peter's Irish girlfriend there. She's still trapped in the future that hasn't happened. So what happened? It was kind of like that episode of Happy Days, the first episode where the one sister walked up the stairs, never to be seen again for the next 10 seasons. It was kind of like what happened to her.
Once again, it's just a supporting character that was just nothing more than a plot device. That's it.
Yeah, it was. So, and then, like you said, all these storylines they got crunched because originally, what on the DVD, they were supposed to release the virus in season 2, and then it was going to be how the heroes. And I think you mentioned it. You said Maya, and that was I read around on it, and that's what a lot of people were speculating was Maya would be the one who would save the world because she can absorb the poison. Or her and Alejandro, that was kind of what it was going to be, but that never came to happen. Careful, bud, don't trip. There you go. Yeah, so, but I can go on about the original series forever.
I think we both can, unfortunately.
Yeah, so.
I guess we covered just about everything.
I think we've covered everything. Yeah, it was good. I can't wait for next week. I'm actually very stoked for next week. Sad that we're not going to be doing the show anymore, but we should mention, hey, you got when Into the Badlands comes back for season 2 over on John's page. Everybody go check out John's Google Plus page, Into the Badlands. Fans of the show, come check it out. Lots of good content on there, and it's a good interactive, fun group. And when they bring that show back for a second season, which they know they're going to be crazy if they don't bring that show back. It was doing over 6 million viewers an episode, and that's fantastic for AMC. But hey, there's something to consider: doing Into the Badlands. You can host an Into the Badlands show.
I'm not exactly the host, but I do strongly consider it. Of course, I'm not the owner. Well, I am the co-owner of that Google community, but I don't necessarily have the skill set that you have, Glenn. So you.
I'll come be on your panel. I'll come join the panel. martial arts and kicking butt and all that. That was a fantastic series.
Problem is, it was only 6 episodes, and we're not even too sure if we are going to have a second season. So that's still up in the air.
Yeah,
but it seems like whatever AMC touches, it makes into gold. Whether it's Let's Call Saul, or The Walking Dead, or Fear the Walking Dead, or Mad Men, or all the other projects they've pretty much introduced. It's just turned into gold. And NBC, well, I'm sorry to say.
I just want to shake my head.
Yeah.
You're right. NBC. I don't know if you've watched. Let's talk about NBC for a second. I don't know if you've watched Shades of Blue yet.
No, I haven't.
I watched I enjoyed the first episode. I haven't watched last night's because I fell asleep after Heroes Reborn. But of course, I go check the ratings for shows every day because I'm just kind of, I don't know, something about numbers on TV shows. I despise the Nielsen ratings, and I've told everybody why. It is not a fair way to judge how well a show does, because you're not taking into account people watching online. They're doing same day and PVR recordings within a 24-hour period. There's people, even in our community, that have said they wait 3 or 4 days to watch it because they just don't have the time. And that's not to me, it's not a fair way to, and that's what killed the first series. It was a lot of the fans were saying, yeah, no, we watch it on the NBC website or we stream it because we just don't have time to watch it. And PVRs and DVRs weren't huge back in 2006 and 2007. But anyhow, yeah, Shades of Blue, its numbers dropped. Like they did 7 million, which is not great. It's okay. It was. They said it was their highest debut show ratings number in 7 or 8 years. 7 million for a new show. I'm like, that's not very good. Like I know Heroes Reborn did 6, almost 7. But yeah, Shades of Blue dropped like boom, not quite 50%, but they dropped a huge number in 1 week.
Ooh.
So that's not good. And you know, the story, like I said, I watched the first one. I said, oh, this is good. It's something I'll watch every week. Fast forward to commercials because I hate commercials, unless it's about superhero movies. Then I stop and rewind it. More for my son than myself. That's what I'll say. But no, just terrible numbers. And NBC, all their shows this week dropped drastically in numbers. But shows like that are on, what is Big Bang on? Is it on Fox or something? I don't know. But their numbers are like, they're doing 15, 16 million a week. Like for a half-hour show? I'm like, how can, I don't know. I just don't get it. I know it's popular, but the numbers, it just shows you the people that are watching these shows watch them every week. They have a pattern, and it's the same people every week. So shows like you look at the Sci-Fi Network, even Doctor Who doesn't have insane amount of numbers every week for their show, but they don't. I don't think they depend on the Nielsen ratings. They don't care because it's a BBC show. They're worried about what's going on in the UK numbers as opposed to North America. Like we're a huge fan base of the show, but they could care less if they got 5 million views for the season premiere.
We complement the UK's fan base, in other words.
Essentially, yeah.
Their primary, US is secondary, which is understandable, and that's great for Doctor Who. But like I said, when it comes to actual shows, the numbers really don't like you said, don't add up when you just base it off the Nielsen rating system. And I'd like to think of it as just a glimpse or a clue as opposed to being based on. Because like you said, you don't rely on PvP, you don't rely on previous recordings or people who binge watch. So like I said, it's hard. The execs really don't know what to do with their shows. Cancel them or not to cancel them. And if you do cancel them, what do you replace it with? And you don't have much to replace it with because whatever you replace it with doesn't have as much of the ratings as the previous. So it's a kind of a lose-lose situation in a way.
No, I agree. Yeah, but like I said, it's all NBC. They just, I don't know. They give up on stuff, but I'll say, like I say, I don't know if I said it last week, but I was a huge fan of the Hannibal show that they had on TV, and its numbers. It got 3 seasons, and I was looking at its numbers per season. The highest average was season 1, and it was 2.86 million viewers per episode. That was the average. So that's half, essentially, almost of what Heroes Reborn is doing. And it's on the same network, and they got 3 seasons. So, but I think what's going to happen is they've learned from this mistake where you didn't have your stars confirmed before you announced the show was coming out. You know, he could have waited. Milo's show with the Whispers went kapooey. You know, he could have waited, and the funny part was Zachary Quinto was working on NBC with that terrible show, The Slap. I'm sorry, I tried to watch that. It was terrible. He couldn't even save it. Spock couldn't save that show, and I could not get into it.
I believe you, but how were the numbers?
For The Slap?
Yeah.
I think it was like 5 or 6 mil per episode, which isn't bad, not great, but that was at the beginning. I didn't pay attention to it afterwards. I just kind of went, I'm not watching this. It's terrible. And it was a remake of another show.
I'm not surprised.
It was actually a remake of a movie, if I believe I'm right. I think it was actually a UK-made movie called The Slap, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but I think it was a movie or another series beforehand. And I didn't see the reason for it to be made. And then when Quinto said, I don't want to revisit Siler because I'm kind of evolved as an actor, I'm like, wow, you did American Horror Stories. Those were great. And then you did The Slap? The heck? Why? I don't get it.
I guess I wanted new venture territory. That's what it wanted.
I guess trying something different. Yeah, I can understand that. I just like, well, come visit Siler for 15 minutes. give us a psycho serial killer again. But
you know what's bad? They want silence.
Yeah.
And does Hayden still have her show? I'm not even too sure.
Nashville, as far as I know, she does. I haven't heard anything about it being canceled. But only the shows I've seen being canceled so far, there was 2 or 3 on NBC that have been for sure canceled. Which, surprise, NBC. But they didn't officially list Heroes Reborn as canceled, as they listed it as it was just a miniseries. It wasn't meant to come back. I'm like, it's just your cop out. But you know my feelings on that.
Same thing, same feelings as mine. But I guess we're at the end, and we've covered just about everything.
Yeah, we've got it all. So thank you, everybody, for joining us again. And I will check into that YouTube chat. Maybe I did that, as I just set that up yesterday for today, and I may have made a mistake and disabled the chat on YouTube, which is bad, but it should be showing up in my feed over here where you've sent me a message, and it should show up. But I'll double check it. And next week, the final episode 13, Project Reborn. Join me and John next Friday for our thoughts on the finale. And until then, everybody have a good weekend.
This is Heroes Reborn community signing off for this week, and will be our last one for next week.
You got it. And again, John, thanks for helping me co-host.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.